All right. Oh, thank you. Okay, we're recording. So let me share my screen and we can get started. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next edition of our coffee break. This is the episode number 92, is it? It's been going on for quite a while. And again, as usual, this is time for you to let us know about anything interesting, any general questions you might have, or share any interesting news. Or we can share some interesting news with you guys as well. So let me start by opening up to the audience. Is there anything interesting you guys want to share? Any new discoveries, any maybe issues that you ran into recently?
I posted a question. Um, every
Okay.
once in a while, one of our customers will try to upload a model with random characters. The latest character was a hyphen. It was a bad hyphen. It was not the normal hyphen.
Okay.
And the Forge or the API rejects it, but the message isn't meaningful. So I was curious if you have a list of known characters that are not allowed on file names.
That's an interesting question. I'm not sure if we have a list like that. I think we should. And if this is not documented on the data management website, or I guess this apply. Yeah, okay. This talks about the BIM 360 upload through the API. So this would be on the data management service side, right? So if this is not documented there, I think it definitely should. I don't remember this being documented. So I would ask you to basically take this through the official channels, right? If you submit a request to aps.help@autodesk.com, we can then basically track the process on this and we can communicate this request to the data management service team.
Okay, yeah, I submitted a ticket, so I'll just wait for the response.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hey,
Um,
Sam, just out of curiosity, if we put something in the documentation, um, would the regular expression for parsing it be useful? Like, so in other words, it wouldn't be just a set of like characters. It would be kind of a regular expression which contains, a parsing function.
Yeah, that'd be
I don't know if
helpful.
that would be useful. Okay, just thinking out loud.
cool. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think we have this documented. Um, right. So I guess you're referring to this name property, right, Sam?
Yeah,
Yep.
and hyphens are supported, but in this case, the file name had one of those weird
The longer
long
one, the
hyphens.
special one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's what blew
Okay. Yeah. So you said you already submitted a request through
I
the
did.
standard channel. Perfect. Thank you. So we'll take it from there, and get this sorted out.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing this up. All right. Any other interesting notes, comments, anything to share?
So the majority of the people here, I think they're based out of the US, right? So I hope you guys know about our DevCon coming up in Boston.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Go for it.
So unless there are no other interesting comments from the audience at this point, like to let you guys know that our DevCon is back again this year. We'll run two of them, one in Boston, one in Munich. The DevCon in Boston is coming up in mid-May, so May 14th, 15th. So if you guys are around, some of my colleagues will be there. Jaime, you'll be there, I believe, right? And Michael as well. And some of our other DAS team members. And then later at the end of May, 28th, 29th, we'll do a DEF CON for Europe for EMEA audience in Munich. And I'll be there. Again, Michael will be there as well, and a couple more of our colleagues. So if you guys are around, interested to hear about what's new in Autodesk Platform Services, definitely come and join us.
Hey, Peter,
Yes.
do you want to advertise the talks going on in Munich and Boston, like we're doing? Hi, the DAS folks are doing.
I think we could. I mean, it's pretty packed.
There's
There's
no one else
lots of good content. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the event, the talks without registering. I'm not sure now. But definitely we have already, like, quite a lot of cool stuff lined up, even just, between the people here. I know Michael has some pretty interesting stuff on AI.
If you click on if you go to the very top, you can actually see the whole schedule. So if you go back to the Autodesk landing page without logging in, and I think because you're logged in, you're not seeing it. So if you go to a private window,
I'm not logged in.
it's got your editing feature
right.
set showing. So yeah, you kind of need a private window.
Okay. All right.
Just do it incognito mode.
Yeah.
Yep. And then this purple thing normally pops up at the top that takes you to
One page.
Yeah, there we go. So you've got Munich and Boston. If you click on Munich, you can then go to the agenda. Yeah, and then do a quick search in the filter for, say, do a filter for your name.
I know Michael.
Oh, you can do.
Oh, there we go. There is a couple that Michael will be presenting in Munich. And again, this one. I think you'll really, really like this one. Some cool AI stuff lined up for you guys. We also last time at DEF CON, we got a lot of feedback about a lot of interest for Power BI integration, right? Like bringing the APS viewer and design data into Power BI reports. So we've got a talk lined up for this as well.
Yeah, scroll up to day 2.
Day 2. There's something specific you want to show? This is the Power BI stuff. We'll be presenting it in Munich. And then Michael, you'll be presenting this in Boston. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, pretty much all the talks that are happening in Munich, most of them are also being presented in Boston. Yeah. So,
and some low code, no code stuff, something we wanted to share with our customers as well. So yeah, lots of really cool content there. So take a look. We can maybe share, or maybe have you guys already shared the link? Now let me share it. So this is for the Munich one. Yes.
I just wanted to jump in with the question. I heard Power BI. I saw you're covering Power BI. We have an issue where we're a pretty large company now, and we're trying to query what desktop Revit version individuals are using and what version Autodesk desktop connector they're using. It would be very convenient if that was surfaced somehow through APS, but that's not available. Is there any plans to make that type of utility information available through APS, or is it something that, hey, Moses, forget about it, never going to happen, we got other priorities? It would be very nice because our IT staff don't actually have, they have tools, of course, where they can see what people are using on their desktop and say, okay, you're using Revit version 2023.1.2, but it's a very hard lift. It would be so much more convenient if that information was surfaced through the data connector. Like through the data connector, I can see a lot of things happening on Autodesk Construction Cloud, new projects, team members, like a lot of information. But there's just these pieces of information that seems very simple, like, hey, what exact version of Revit are you using? That's not available. So that's my Power BI question.
Right. So very good question, Moses. Thank you for that one. I remember I heard this request in the past. Maybe not directly related to Power BI, but customers generally being interested in finding out version of Revit with which a design was created, although that may not be exactly your case, it sounds like. To be honest, I don't know if this is anywhere on our roadmap for the desktop connector. We need to bring that back to the team and ask them. I personally have not heard anything about, this kind of feature being planned. Not sure if Michael or Jaime, if you have heard anything.
So just to clarify the question, so you're wanting to use the data connector for Power BI for versions of Revit prior to 2024. So Revit 2023, Revit files that have been created by Revit 2020, 2018, that sort of thing, Moses? Is that right?
Actually is more specifically what our issue is. We have a large team working on a cloud project. Maybe half the users have Revit version 2020. It really comes down to the patch and the update. So we need everyone to have the same update. So we know everybody's using Revit 2024 for a specific project, but do you have 0.1, 0.2? We have some users that's using the Revit 2024 release, but they didn't get the update, they didn't get the patch, they didn't get the fix. It's causing a problem. IT doesn't have a simple way to query all of those users and find out who's using exactly what. The information, it would be great if the information came from Autodesk, if they were able to capture that, and so that the administrators could have an easy view. Now, I'm a Power BI user, so that's where I'm going to, put it and surface that information. But through the data connector. So it's like sometimes I feel like I have everything in the data connector except for what I really, 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 really want. And it's that type of information that we're missing. So we know that through ACC, like the broad Revit version, and we name the file like 2024, but we don't have an opportunity to know exactly what patch or update everyone has received.
I see. Thanks for the clarification. Okay, so this is something quite different from like what I assumed. Yeah, again, the answer is still the same. I'm not sure if this is on the roadmap for the desktop connector. I have not heard anything. We can ask. Even here, I think it'll be easier because we're getting lots of requests. We would ask you to reach out to us through the official channel, because that will create a ticket in our queue so that we, doesn't get forgotten. I would imagine, yeah, again, like I don't think this is on the roadmap. I would imagine this could be done in ways outside of APS as well, right? I mean, if you have your IT department, I would imagine they could have some insight, some remote administration access to the individual machines. Or is this not like your intranet network? You have people working outside of.
Well, now we're a much larger company, and the way that our IT admins explained it, part of the problem is time zones and geography, and being able to, if they're doing a deployment, they're never quite sure if they're shutting down someone's or taking over someone's remote computer. Some of them are in Australia, others are in US, some are in Europe. There's never a convenient time to grab someone's desktop machine and do everything that needs to be done. They have tools that can report on what people are using. However, there always seems to be some gaps here and there. In my mind, the most convenient way would be to go to the
Desktop.
publisher of the software, in this case, Autodesk, because there's so much great information already coming through desktop connector, but it seems to be solely relegated to the cloud and not what's happening with what
Desktop.
someone's using. I think in the past, people would like gather up the journal files and get information that way. I don't know if that's possible through the design automation API. And you know, that's something I'm using the design automation API to actually push some project information into the Revit files, but I wouldn't be able to query like if the user has the latest patch or update.
Okay. Yeah, so again, let us bring this request to the desktop connector team, see what they say. And again, if you could drop us a note through that official channel so that we can keep track of that, and keep you posted on any updates. I think that would really help us. Okay, so yeah, so unfortunately we don't have a satisfactory answer for you at this point, I'm afraid. And I see we have more questions. A problem with design automation for Revit 2025 is not working.
Hello.
Hi, Luis.
I can share my screen. It's gonna be easier, I guess, to show what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me stop sharing mine.
Let me close everything here. No. Share. This one. Share. Yeah. Here's my project. It's just a simple project, but in here I have the reference for the Revit 25. So just change each version. But in here I cannot have the reference for the DOL in the package for some reason in the new version.
Okay.
I guess was built wrong or something. But yeah, if I build this project, it's gonna fail because I don't have the DOL in the package. So yeah, that's it. That's the issue.
Okay. Even here, I'm not sure if this could be like a .NET version problem. That might potentially.
I don't think so. I guess the reference in here is not getting the DOL. Was built wrong, I guess. That's what I think that's happening.
Okay.
All right. I think we'll
Hey,
need to
Broz,
update this
Send
one.
us a ticket. We'll
this would
start
go
researching
to
on it.
Yeah, this would go to the design automation team that's
Yeah.
responsible for the
Yeah, I can show here.
package.
If you, yeah, if I go in this the last version, if I go in the framework, it's gonna be empty in here for some reason. At least this one is showing the
.NET framework.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's something wrong with the package. I can
Maybe
open
something-
here as well.
right.
Come on.
Yeah, so this package, this is not something that we manage, the developer advocacy team. This is actually built and maintained by the design automation team, so we'll need to take this question to them.
Yeah, it's in here, but not reference the, yeah, something strange.
Okay. All right, so yeah, so as Jaime said, please send us a ticket.
Yep.
We can try and take a look at this ourselves, but I think the best course of action here would be to bring this to the design automation team that maintains
Send the ticket for where? Can you send me?
the APS help at autodesk.com. Send you email address in
Okay.
the chat. Yeah, this will go into our ticketing system so that again we can keep track of this this problem as it's being resolved. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the heads up.
There was
We have
another
a few
one
more
there.
minutes.
Can I ask a quick question?
Hey, Jonathan, sure.
So I wrote in the chat, but basically, I'm looking for a way to find the folder structure on a ACC project or BIM 360, because we're doing different things. We're scanning specific files and folder structure, etc. And obviously, there's no endpoint. You know, just give me everything below that tree. It's just
Right.
folder by folder content, right?
Yes.
So, is there a sample of someone doing a recursive iteration somewhere? That's one question, and the other, if I only need the IDs and the names, for example, then when I look at the content, I'm only looking for the folders and items. The versions is like for finding the actual file with the latest version, for example. Am I
Yes.
right?
Yeah. It's up to you how far you want to drill down, and you can definitely just, can just grab or just drill through the folders and the items and stop there if that's what, if that's enough for your use case. And to your question, I think like one of the very basic tutorials that we have available, we call it the Hubs browser, is one example where we actually do this recursive drill down. We don't do the drill down immediately. We do it on demand, right? So when the user selects a specific folder in the UI, we send a request back to the data management saying, give us all the contents for this particular folder. We display the subfolders and items, and then when the user expands one of the subfolders, we do the same thing again.
So
But you could do the
it's
same.
not really recursive. It's just
you're
sending,
but kind of on demand, not immediately, not synchronously, I guess I would say. You can do that too. We may have a sample that does this. I don't remember if we have any. I vaguely remember we had in the past, we had some older samples that were not doing this interactive on demand drill down, but that basically we're trying to get all the folders in one go. It would take significantly longer, right? That process, because you're basically just getting the complete tree, which could be pretty complex, pretty large, but I think it's doable. The only thing you need to be careful about, of course, is the rate limit in that case, right? Because if you start spamming the data management, like, our servers with requests for all the subfolders, for all the folders, and repeatedly, recursively call all these, you could very easily for large projects end up with, hundreds, if not thousands of requests. And if you make these in too quick of a succession, you could start hitting rate limits. So that's just something you need to keep in mind. But you could definitely do that as well in this non-interactive way. Just basically, get the top folders and grab, all the results and queue up the subsequent requests to get all their contents, and recursively the same thing. Keep a queue of all these requests, right? And making sure that you always only run or execute only a limited number of requests, so as to, again, you don't hit the rate limit quotas.
Okay. And if there is such a sample, your guess it would be on GitHub with the Autodesk Forge older section rather than the APS?
I would look at both. I would recommend looking
Okay.
at both, because we're still in a process of migrating some of the remaining samples from the old organization into github.com and Autodesk Platform Services. So I would say for now.
Any idea what language or?
I would probably, what I would do if I were to look for something like this, I would basically just do a search through an entire GitHub org. So you can basically do a search at the github.com Autodesk Forge level, and I would try and search for all the samples, all the code that contains something like, get folder content, where we're calling the SDK to
not Forge anymore. Autodesk Platform Services GitHub.
Right. I mean, what I was saying, we still have some samples in the old GitHub org that we haven't migrated yet. So it's possible that it could be somewhere in the old samples.
Not to confuse people.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right.
I'm with you.
But yeah, so like the official org now is Autodesk Platform Services. So github.com/Autodesk Platform Services. So take a look there. If you can't find it, ping me an email maybe. I'll try and take a look myself.
Thanks.
And we have a couple more minutes. So before I let you guys go, I also wanted to mention we have some more interesting news. One is for those of you developing or using Node.js, as of today, we have published our new official SDKs for Node.js and TypeScript. So this has been long awaited, and I myself have been very excited about the new official SDKs being available. The .NET SDKs have been around for a while. The Node.js SDKs, we've been running some, last minute polishes on those, making sure that they're in top shape before sharing those with you. So now if you go to npm.js and you search for APS_SDK, you'll see that we now have, these are fresh from the oven. Those were published a couple hours ago. So for webhooks, data management, OSS, the usual, basically, you'll now have these separate Node.js SDKs available to communicate with these services. And we're planning to publish a blog post or maybe two explaining how to migrate to these new SDKs for both Node.js and .NET. So if you're a Node.js developer, rejoice. I know that, it's been kind of tricky with the legacy SDKs. We had to maintain those by hand. These new SDKs will be auto-generated from OpenAPI specs, which will make it much easier for us to roll out updates faster in a more robust way. That's another update. Also wanted to mention, you may already know about our accelerator program, and we've got a couple of accelerators coming up. The next one will be in mid-April, so it's actually 2 weeks from now, in Munich. That's going to be in person. I'll be there, and a couple of my colleagues will be there. If you have, I think there's still time to register. I think there's still open slots. So if you have any kind of idea about a feature or a prototype, something you'd like to build with our platform, this is a great opportunity for you to join us for a week and basically hack on your idea or prototype for that week in one of our offices, and with us basically sitting right next to you. So whenever you have any question, there's a good chance you can just talk to us instead of sending an email or submitting a ticket, and we're there to help you, right? Trying to help you to get to a successful outcome at the end of the week, where you can find out whether the prototype or that idea, whether it's something that's feasible or maybe something that even an outcome of like, okay, maybe this is not the right way to go, is still a good outcome. So some learning. And the next one also at the beginning of June, we'll have another in-person accelerator in our London office. So again, another opportunity for you. If maybe mid-April is too soon for you, consider maybe the London accelerator. We'd be happy to have you there as well. And also one more thing, yes, online training. So again, you may be familiar with our online boot camps or online trainings. These are virtual events, series of webinars where we basically code through certain tutorials or where we live code certain applications, and you and our attendees follow our steps co-developing with us, and whenever the developers run into any problems, they can just ask straight away, and we unblock them right there, right then. So it's basically a sort of like a hand-guided way for you to learn about how to work with our technology, how to develop solutions with Autodesk Platform Services. This one will happen towards the end of April 23rd, 24th, and will be focused on AEC. So the first day will be focused on our Hubs browser tutorial. This is the one where you develop an application that can integrate with your existing ACC projects. So you can build a simple preview app that can connect to your ACC project, and it can let your users drill down through folders, items, versions of documents, and preview them in a simple web experience. And the day 2 will be dedicated to the very long-awaited ACC admin APIs. So those of you who have been waiting for ACC admin APIs, we're now having our first online training where our colleagues will basically show you how these APIs can be used and integrated in your own applications. All right. So let me check some more questions. Python SDKs. This is a very good topic. I actually had this quick discussion with Augusto recently about the most frequently used languages. So Augusto, I know, he's been running some research trying to find out from user agents, from requests coming to our platform, trying to find out the most popular or most common languages. And Python was actually quite high up in that list. So it is something that we're looking into. And now, as I mentioned earlier, now that we're auto-generating or mostly auto-generating our SDKs from OpenAPI specs, we are in a much better position to actually start onboarding additional languages as well, right? So now that we've successfully published .NET and Node.js, these have always been the top 2 languages that our customers and developers use. And now it's going to be a matter of us waiting for the results from Augusto's research, see which languages we tackle next. And I believe Python is pretty high up on that list. All right. And updates on Dynamo for APS. And I see Jaime already answered. Yeah, not immediate priority as far as I know as well.
Just a quick question on that. I think currently there is a pilot or a feedback project going on. What I remember, Augusto and one other gentleman was doing a tutorial on how to set up the DLLs and get your Dynamo script going. I was wondering, I don't know if it was kind of a tech preview, a feedback pilot, but there was something going on, and I wanted to get an update on at what stage that's at. And different individuals were building the Python script and uploading it to Design Automation for Revit. Maybe that was a month or 2 ago. I want to know if that's still going. I guess I can email the APS email address. But
yeah.
There was something being worked on before. I think Dennis was doing some research into that. But it was like in an early state. I know at some point also, I think Luis, you were doing something with that, right? With some
yeah, I did a video about that, but I don't use Dynamo, so yeah, exactly. I just run that design automation application in version 24, I guess. That's the only one that works.
Yeah, but to be up to the state where it's kind of like out of a beta state on a public release or something like that, yeah, we can find out about it. I'm not completely sure where did it end up. I think it was just a starting research phase for that. So we can get back to you on that, Moses.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I believe it was Dennis
Mhm.
Mhm.
did a live webinar on how to set that up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I see you replied to Antonio as well.
Antonio, I was going to say, I think an interesting question, like getting external IDs through our APIs, not necessarily through a specific viewable from Revit Designs. And I think this could be done through the property database because that database is shared by all views, basically, right? So whenever you translate a Revit model, we may generate multiple viewables, and we always generate one property database that is shared across these views. So from there, you should be able to get the external IDs without having a specific view.
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
out of time, right?
And we're a little bit beyond time. My apologies for that. Thank you all for your questions and your comments, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
So much, and talk again. You guys
Thank you,
take care.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.